Chapter 60, Consecutive Face Slap Technique. Su Cheng didn't mean to offend the guy. At this speed, the discs were definitely a lot harder to hit. Skill can be a factor, but more often than not, it depended on luck. However, since he saw that his words made Shi Wenbin a bit unhappy, he didn't dwell on the subject. Su Cheng got the prop gun ready. Shen Wenbin didn't directly mock him, but his buddy beside him started talking. There are so many people in our military, I don't see anyone else lucky enough to get 3 hits out of 10 rounds. Maybe you can test your luck too. Su Cheng nodded and smiled. Then I will give it a try. Maybe I can get lucky and hit a disc or 2. Shi Wenbin's buddy started the machine. Su Cheng raised his gun and concentrated towards the front, while Shi Wenbin just casually observed. He admitted that the explosive strength Su Cheng demonstrated the other day was indeed terrifying, but in his heart, he was still willing to believe that a person probably won't excel in every area. For example, when it came to shooting and reaction speed, he optimistically thought that Su Cheng was definitely not as good as him. Suddenly, a disc flew out from a random corner at a great speed. Indeed, just like Su Cheng said, most people could only rely on their reaction speed and shoot immediately towards the general area the disc flew out from. As for whether they could hit it, a lot still depended on luck, since it really gave you less than a second to actually aim, taken into account the time needed for you to react and lift the gun to the right angle. Even top marksmen from around the world won't be able to confidently say that their hit rate would reach 30%. However, Su Cheng was different. Before the disc even flew into sight, the ultrasonic waves had already given feedback to his brain the instant the disc was launched. That feeling was like a homing missile, any flight trajectory and speed would be immediately calculated in Su Cheng's brain. Within a second, he directly lifted his gun and shot at the disc. The electronic device immediately signaled a hit. Shi Wenbin paused for a second, and his buddy also didn't know how to react or what to say. Su Cheng faintly smiled. Pretty good luck. Just as he spoke, another disc appeared from the ground and flew towards another corner. Su Cheng lowered his gun and took another shot, executing the whole series of movements from turning, aiming, and shooting within a second. The machine immediately indicated that it was a hit. Shi Wenbin's eyelids jumped. His buddy also looked at the machine and then back at the disc that was knocked out of its original trajectory. The machine could make a mistake and report a false positive hit, but the disc was indeed hit out of its original trajectory. That meant those 2 hits were real for sure. Now this was becoming a little awkward. Shi Wenbin constantly prayed in his head, luck, it must be luck. The rest will miss. Please don't hit another one or my record will be washed away. Wang Ying just stood quietly on the side. Her beautiful eyes were locked onto Su Cheng full of curiosity, feeling that there seemed to be a lot more about this guy. Just how could a soldier like this retire from the military? She had a lot of connections in the army, so logically speaking, she should at least have heard about a soldier like him. However, she was sure that she was not familiar with Su Cheng, and his name also never appeared on the ranking board. Indeed, this thing depends more on luck. Shi Wenbin's buddy could only smile awkwardly. But before his smile could even fade, another disc flew out, and Su Cheng's bullet shattered the disc, freezing Shi Wenbin's buddy's smile on his face. They felt like someone had stuffed a dead fly in their mouths, and their faces were brutally slapped. 3 shots and 3 hits. Another disc flew out, and Su Cheng's reaction speed left everyone at the scene speechless. The moment the disc flew out, his prop gun fired, and this time, he fired 2 shots within 1 second. On the machine, the number jumped to 5. What happened? Shi Wenbin's buddy's eyes stared wide open. Wasn't this the 4th shot? Why does the data show 5? Oh, so it turned to be this. I was just wondering if there was something wrong with the machine. Shi Wenbin finally found a way to extricate himself from this awkward position. However, Wang Ying replied to him in disdain, didn't you hear that there were 2 shots? It meant both bullets hit the disc, that's why the data displayed 2 more hits. Shi Wenbin and his buddy were both dumbfounded as they looked at Su Cheng awkwardly. When the 5th disc flew out, Wang Ying concentrated on watching Su Cheng's index finger that was on the trigger. She shockingly found that within 1 second, it was really hard to see if Su Cheng's index finger moved or not, but 3 bullets were fired consecutively. She immediately looked towards the screen, and the score jumped to 8. Her pupils contracted at this sight. Shi Wenbin and his buddy's jaws seemed to be falling off as they took in a deep breath of cold air. Feeling the atmosphere was a bit awkward, Su Cheng smiled and explained, "This isn't a real gun, that's why I can do it. Real guns have strong recoil, so I wouldn't be able to land consecutive shots at all." Shi Wenbin could mumble in his heart in response, "Master, please stop explaining. The more you explain, the worse I will feel. Not to mention real guns, just who the fuck can fire 3 bullets in 1 second on single fire mode? And your explanation completely dodged the point. You should try to address the elephant in the room of why the fuck did all 3 shots hit." Shi Wenbin cried in his heart, "I fucking tried so hard and got a 3 out of 10 score. You got 8 hits in 5 rounds, does that mean you have no problem doing 30 out of 10 rounds?" The more he thought, the more he began questioning his life. If there was a difference between people, he could comfort himself by blaming it on birth, or not being handsome enough, or not hard-working enough. However, how could the difference be so fucking big? At this point, he really just wanted to dig a hole and bury himself. At this moment, Su Cheng said, "This might not be able to test my reaction speed limit, let's change to something else." This made Shi Wenbin and his buddy both cough up blood. So, it turned out that everything just now was just a piece of cake for him. It was like, someone accomplished something you couldn't even dream of accomplishing, and then he faintly said, "I didn't even warm up yet." Shi Wenbin already thought Su Cheng had shown off enough, yet what he just said was just deadly to the integrity of an average being like him. Su Cheng turned around and said to Shi Wenbin's buddy, "Can you go and find me a blindfold?" The other 3 all stared right back at Su Cheng, and that buddy's mouth trembled as he said, "You want to try blind shooting?" Su Cheng nodded. Shi Wenbin and his buddy coughed up more blood and thought to themselves, could this be the legendary, consecutive face-slapping technique? God, why are we the background and subject of comparison of this monster? Why,